today we decided to do an approach which was unique based on what the ladies as She-Squatchers had said was remote viewing. And I think it's important that you don't dismiss anything that has had some credibility. The CIA have used it before, and if the CIA have used it before, then why don't we try it? That's my rationale. And I think that is a rationale without ego, because I think you should try anything, and ultimately any results that you have can be analysed and scientifically corroborated. But in the first instance, I think there's nothing wrong with having a diverse field approach. So we decided to do that, and basically they had given us a pinpoint location, and what I wanted to do with that location was to try and adopt a movement where we gradually moved into the forest area where they said there was a concentration of activity, to see if anything would run out and we could get some visual sightings. So there were two teams, and we worked in sync with walkie-talkies to make sure that that approach happened. Now, the other team had, I think, more cumulative events that happened to them, but let's focus specifically on what our team found that was of interest. There were tracks of predators, for example, wolves and bears, but we didn't find any tracks of a Bigfoot or what could have been a Bigfoot in any way per se. What we did find was which was interesting, I think, because there are no fish in the area or streams or anything else, not within at least a few miles. I'd have to look to give you a specific, but there's nothing around there. Now, there was a strong fishy smell. Now, originally, both Kevin and James had passed through that area as they had walked through the area.
Jason.
When Jason as well. But when we went back in there, the smell was very strong. And what we also found, which was quite strange, we found two fungi pulled from their stalks. They had caps on them and overturned, and they were stood straight up. Now, is that determinative of a Bigfoot? No, it isn't. But it's very interesting in corroboration with the other team's activities. So we didn't get cumulative scientific evidence, but what we did get was some very strange anomalous events, which as a whole, as the group as a whole, would find very unusual. It would be very unusual if you're tracking to find so many things happen there. So it's an interesting area, and one of the locales where you would certainly want to put game trails up in the future. And that's it.
So I think you should also mention about how because there was a fish in the area, you'd also described in the car on the way back how the smoke comes to the pores.
I should say that.
Yeah.
That's a good
She
point.
just did.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't
I was
understand.
explaining do you want me to explain what I mean by that?
Yeah.
So one of the things I said to Gwen at the time was that the fish smell is interesting because it's a very strong smell which can permeate through the pores, and it was a stink. So my first thought when I had smelt that was it was that a dead animal. So I looked around to see if it was a dead animal and why would it smell of fish, but there was nothing there. It was like a lingering smell, which is why it's interesting.
Perfect.
Yeah, good job.
That was good.
Good job.
Is that okay?
That's awesome.
Thank you, Adam, Davies,
Wait,
and
was I in that too?